Alright, today we're going to start with a pretty easy project. We're going to build a crate for a motorcycle. This is a Honda CBR 1000. So whatever bike you're going to build a crate for, just make sure you take good dimensions. Probably one of the first dimensions I would take is overall length of the bike, overall height of the bike, however wide your widest part of your bike is, and your axle dimension. So if you want to come around here, I'll show you how I took the measurement for the axle dimension. One quick tip is you could either go online and look at axle dimensions for your bike, or you can just put a piece of stick in the holes of the axles here, and that'll give you a center line to measure from. So you measure from here to here, and I'm at about 54.5 inches. And the reason why I want to do this is because with the crate that I'm going to build, I don't want the actual bike center of gravity of each tire resting on plywood without a 2x4 going underneath it. So I actually want the tires resting on 2x4s. So this dimension here will give me exactly where to place my 2x4s underneath the plywood for the bottom. Alright, so for your lumber cuts and your lumber list, I went to Lowe's. I got 5 sheets of 23/32 inch plywood. This is a BC pine plywood. So it's just under a 3/4 inch. I think that'll be sturdy enough. Started with 5 sheets of 4x8 by that. And then I got 16 2x4 by 8 foot long, just basically stud board. You don't need to get treated. I don't expect this to be out in the weather, so I don't need to make sure it's treated. Alright, so for what I did is I went ahead and had the guys at Lowe's cut it. So I started for these are going to be the front and the back of the box. These are 44 7/16 by 48 inches tall. This here is going to be the bottom. This is actually what the bike is going to sit on top of. This one here is 86 inches by 40 inches long. Here's the top, so this is going to be the ultimately top, and I can place stuff on top of it inside the trailer. This is 90 and 15/32 by 44 7/16, and then I ended up with 2 pieces of plywood, 86 inches by 48 inches for the sides. Okay, so next in the project, we're going to chop down the 2x4 by 8 foot long 2x4s that we had. Alright, so we're going to want to end up with 4 2x4s at 86 inches. You want 4 at 44 7/16. You want 5 at 40 inches, and then you want 14 at 41 inches, and you'll be left over with one about, I don't know, 55 inches, 55 inches. Okay, so that's scrap, push that aside. So this is what we're going to build our framework on the plywood for to make the walls more structural. Alright. Okay, so I started with the bottom piece first, and what I went ahead and did is I started with the bottom piece of plywood, which was 86 inches across, 40 inches widthwise. Then I took my 40-inch 2x4s that I'd cut, the 5 of them, and I placed them out like this. Obviously you want one on each end, one in the center, and these ones right here and here are the ones that go directly under each tire. So it's always good to confirm and measure from center of that 2x4 to center of this 2x4, and make sure it's the same measurement of the center of your axle on your bike. This way it ensures that each tire sits on top of the 2x4. So for me, the distance between this one and this one was 9 3/4. This one and this one was 24.5, 24.5, and 9 3/4. That should ensure a nice, safe platform for the bike to sit on during shipment. Okay, so when it came to screwing these in, I just got 2-inch screws. I put one here and here on each board, making sure they don't protrude, because the last thing you want is a nail screw tip pointing out on the other side, because the other side is the side that the tires are going to roll across. So I put 2 screws on each just to hold it in place, and then I flipped it over. And then for the rest, I put 3 on each slate. Alright, so now when the bike rolls up, front tire sits here, nice and sturdy. Back tire sits there, nice and sturdy. Alright, the next step is we're going to take these cleats, or the eyelets that I bought from Lowe's, and we're going to secure the eyelets to these 2x4s here, and then 2 more back here, and that'll give us something to strap the bike to the actual platform. Okay, so if you want to come in and see what I've got, these are the eyelets that I bought from Lowe's. This will hold it secure. Now the only problem is this nut coming through the bottom of the 2x4, like so, could potentially either stick through. So one thing you want to do is countersunk this nut into the 2x4 so that this nut isn't protruding, and that way you're not sliding on the nuts in the trailer. So I'll show you how to do that in the next step. Okay, so back to the base for the motorcycle. Again, we're working with our 86-inch by 40-inch piece of plywood here. You can see how I've got the 4 eyelet hooks so that you can hook the bike into something once it's on top of it. So to give you an idea how I did the hooks, flip this up. I'm trying to get a zoom in. Come zoom in on this. So I drilled a hole, a 1/2 inch drill bit through all the way through, and then I took a 1 1/4 inch bit just to open this up and recess this washer and the nut. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the base. Put this down. Alright, so for the front and the back walls, come over here. These plywood ones were the 44 and 7/16 inch by 48-inch plywoods times 2. One for the front, one for the back. Again, this is 44 and 7/16 long. My slats here are 41 inches long. And basically I just did a frame. And this will give it some integrity so it can't twist on you. Make 2 of those. Alright. Then for the sides, I went ahead with the sides. These sides were 86 inches by 48 inches. So obviously the top rails are 86 inches, bottom rail is 86 inches. Again, these are all your 41-inch slats right here. Again, times 2 for 2 sides. When I did the screws on all these, I did a couple on each side, so a couple this way, and then really you want the majority coming through the plywood first and then into the 2x4 versus going into the 2x4 and then the plywood. So a couple each way should be good. Essentially the end result in this is that I'm going to leave it in components like this so that when I get the U-Haul trailer, I'll put the bottom slat in the trailer, ride the bike up on it, and build the box inside the trailer. Last but not least is the top. Not really a whole lot to do to the top. Again, this was 90 and 15/30 seconds by 44 and 7/16, and when it's all said and done, I'll just screw this top on and it'll be done. Okay, so here's the idea. It's on the plywood. The wheels are on the 2x4s. Always go back and make sure that they are actually on those 2x4s. I'd hate for you to be in the middle and crack your plywood. But essentially that's it. So at this point, if we were inside the U-Haul trailer, all I would do is just put the sides around it, screw it together, put the top on, screw it together, and you've created your bike. I paid about $250 in supplies at Lowe's to get all this done, whereas I was looking at about $800 to ship it, anywhere from $600 to $800 to ship. And I even found a website where you can actually buy a crate, and they'll ship you out a pallet, and you can have all this stuff right here basically for about $400. So saved $150. Took me a couple hours. It was an easy day project, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so I'm still in the building process, and really what I'm doing is I'm just putting the bike in the crate, screwing it all together just to kind of run into whatever problems I'm going to run into. Like already I've run into, I need good long 4-inch screws right here. I'm only using 2.5. I think I found a couple 3s. So really for screws I'm using 1.5 inches all the way up to 2.5, all the way up to 4-inch screws. So make sure when you do this project you go get a wide variety of screws. Anyways, the only thing left is the back of the top. You can see I've got just enough clearance for the top to go on. And essentially this is it. So basically I just build this in the trailer and unbuild it in the trailer, and then take it to my new house. Okay, so this is it. This is the finalized box. I hope you guys enjoyed the film, and I hope everything worked out for you. Remember, if your bike dimensions are different, you got to tailor it to your axle dimensions, and overall inside diameter dimensions is what you're really after. I wasn't really too concerned with the outside dimensions as long as the insides was good enough. But again, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed.